Hey everybody, it's Jordan here at the Music Zoo, along with Music Zoo owner and founder, Tommy Colletti. And we have some pretty sweet Gibson Custom Shop guitars on our hands today. We're here to talk to you about our latest run that we're doing with torrefied flame maple tops.
Sure.
This is a thing we've been doing for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
What year did we start?
2002 or 3, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yes, but it's at least that long. So what had happened, I'll try to make this as short as possible.
Let's go in.
Someone, a close friend, Mike Hotson, who's at another company other than Gibson.
What's up, Mike?
He came to me at a NAMM show, actually, behind one of the booths, and he was just like, hey, you got to check this out. And in this duffel bag, he pulls this piece of wood out. And I was like, okay, great, what is it? You know, and he went into this story about how it was actually roasted by the wood vendor, and he was holding a piece of maple that looked like a chocolate bar, basically, really dark.
Super dark for back then.
Nothing that you'd identify as maple, you know? And he was like, smell it. And I smelled it. It kind of smelled like a slash between a barbecue and bacon or something.
Kind of sweet, yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, we started making, he came to me with just the idea like, hey, you're always looking for something new. Why don't you try this roasted wood? Seems kind of cool, looks different. And we had made several guitars with it, and what we found is that there were actually a lot of tonal differences in the guitars. One of the people that was actually working for that company left to another company, and then all of a sudden that other company started making necks. Every neck was roasted.
Can't keep a secret for long.
Yeah, it traveled through the industry relatively quickly. And for those of you that are watching it, goes, yeah, I've heard of this torrefied thing before. This is old news. Well, 20 years ago it wasn't. and the thing that when you talk to a builder about wood, and then you talk to a guitar player, you get very different answers, right? So
totally.
A builder is going to say, hey, it's really easy to mill and it cuts great, and and I've been hearing reports that it's more stable and things like that. And then on the guitar player side, you talk to people and they go, wow, it's a lot lighter, and actually I think the guitar's a little brighter, So then that put me down this rabbit hole of what happens when you're roasting the wood. So in wood, there's hemicellulose, which is basically sort of like the sap of a tree, kind of, sort of. And when you roast the wood, a lot of that hemicellulose comes out of the wood, creating all these pores. So now take that into account, and then take our love for old guitars,
right?
Old wood, and you go, well, it's kind of the same thing that happens to old wood. After years and years of just going through different temperature changes and everything like that, it just kind of loses a lot of its moisture. Hence this fascination that we all have with vintage guitars, and there's several reasons, because of the build quality and parts and pickups and so on and so forth. However, in 2009, we did a very, very limited run of these.
With Gibson Custom Shop.
With the Gibson Custom
Shop.
So
up until then, we were doing this with FMIC, Fender, Charvel, Jackson, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
But 2009, what happens when you use roasted wood with a Les Paul?
Correct. So yeah, this. So and through that whole time period, it was me yelling as loud as I could, we need to do this, to my friends at the custom shop at Gibson. And it took years to come about. We did a small run of them. It was very successful. Whoever's got one, hold on to it. And then for whatever reason, so many things happen in corporate America. All of a sudden, we're not building these anymore. I was like, okay.
It happens.
Yeah, okay. So now fast forward, and you and I were at Gibson Custom Shop, and there we found a stack of torrefied roasted maple tops.
Yeah, right.
And my head nearly exploded, and we started picking tops for these guitars.
Yeah. So here we have one. There's a couple around us. There's very few in stock right now. By the time you see it, there might be 1 or 2 left, but there's going to be more on order.
Yep.
This one in my hands, I believe this is VOS Kentucky Bourbon Fade, the double classic white, 57 classic pickups. We're kind of we're in love with these pickups. They just look so cool. So let's tie in maybe why we chose the 57 classic to go with a roasted maple top. Because what does a roasted maple top on a Les Paul give you to your ears?
To my ear, what happens is you brighten up the guitar a little bit. So, for anybody that's challenged by a Les Paul that feels it's too dark, or, I never play those, I like to shred more, and the notes aren't as responsive and stuff, it's kind of the answer of it. So you have the roasted top makes the guitar a little bit brighter. The 57 classics are staying true to the original PAFs as much as possible, without compressing things too much and getting too into the weeds of overthinking everything. That's why you hear things about like underwound pickups and things
Totally,
like that.
yeah. And in fact, one of these guitars behind us has underbound burst buckers in it.
Correct.
For that same reason, to give that like,
Yeah.
not underwhelming, but like letting the guitar breathe and like speak for itself.
Hopefully this lasts longer than the last time we did this, because in 2009, like, it was a blink, and the people that got them got them and held them. I didn't even. I had put one on a shelf, and one of the salespeople sold mine, and then it was just gone forever. and they never circulate in here. I haven't seen one in 10 years.
Yeah.
So they're cool.
Yeah, certainly. And I think for me, having not seen one of these in a long time, you know, we got a bunch of these in, and the first thing we all like to do when a Gibson comes in, how does it sound with an E major unplugged? And it's still going. I feel a nice resonance throughout the whole thing. One of our guitar techs was like, I noticed when I was tuning it, that like holding the peg, there's like a lot more vibration coming from it. And yeah, that could be just like a great one.
Yeah.
But I mean, isn't half of this battle like finding what the secret sauce is and what we believe is the secret sauce? Sure. And for these, to me, I have to imagine that the roasting of the maple gives it a little bit extra secret sauce.
Yeah, gets you that much closer to that tone that we're all completely in love with.
Totally. You know? So this was the Kentucky Faded something or other, but let's check out some other tops.
Bourbon Burst,
There we go. Here we have a natural finish, which I mean is just showcasing all of that beautiful flame. When we were in Nashville, I remember seeing like the roasting process obviously makes the maple a little bit darker.
Right.
There's definitely some like mineral specks that pop out a little bit more when it's getting roasted, and we're like, screw the burst on this one. Let's just pop it natural. And with
looks so good.
The double classic whites, it looks great.
So
and the cream plastics.
The flame on this
super sick.
Is
unbelievable.
Stupendous, it really is.
Yeah, I think everything just pops out.
Yeah.
There's another one that's a standout. Let's check that out. So this one might be my favorite.
Okay.
It's a 58, so it's got a nice, super chunky neck profile, and it's less than 7 pounds because we did some chambered Les Pauls.
Right.
I mean,
why not?
This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing in the world.
One of the requests that we get here often is like, all of our guitars have weights and measures on them at this point, and that's something that's gone on over the last 20 years. You see like a lot of guitar retailers that all of a sudden put weights, because people always want to know like, how heavy is it?
Oh yeah, of course.
I got a bad back.
Especially for Les Pauls, yeah.
Yeah, I do a 3-hour gig, like at 2 o'clock in the morning at a club. I can't stand with this thing.
Yeah, totally.
How much does it weigh? So chasing a light guitar has become a thing for us because of those customers that demand, like, I want a light Les Paul, but I don't want to just not play a Les Paul.
Yeah.
So we chamber them.
Yeah, and so this goes into the options we're going to offer with these roasted tops. You want a 58 plain top? Sure. We can do that probably. Roasted plain top? That sounds pretty cool.
Sure. Whatever
burst you want. If you want pickups, if you want covered burst buckers, custom buckers, whatever. But the chambering, I think it's in tune.
Yeah.
You can play that for a 4-hour gig.
Yeah.
Good to go. So this one was a standout to me for sure.
Look at the top on that one.
It's unreal.
Yeah, they're not disappointing at all. You could always tell how cool a guitar is when half of our staff tries to put them on hold for themselves.
There's like 3 of us fighting for this guitar right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have to sit here as the owner and go, we need to sell them so we can pay the rent, guys.
We've got the bug just like everyone else.
Yeah.
These are super special. You should come on down, check them out. If you want to order one of your own, you certainly can. Email us, sales@themusicguru.com. Call us up. Come visit us in our showroom out in Farmingdale on Long Island. On Long Island, not in. On
Long Island.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what they say. We're on Long Island.